Hey, everybody, and welcome to today's Daily Distinction. I'm Scott McCain. I'm really glad that you are with me again today. I'm setting up the Instagram live here. Sorry about that. Hope everything is good with you and that all is right with the world. Hi to everybody on Instagram just joining in. Great to have you. And I'm using new software today. So I hope it's going good. Please let me know. I have this fear that I'm talking to nobody. So if you're there, why let me know. Well, let's see. Ann says happy Monday. That's one of the cool things about this different software is it lets me bring folks' comments on. So how about that? So Dwayne says, how are you preparing to go back to work? We're going to be talking more about that, Dwayne, as we proceed today. So thanks to Ken Walls for the information about the podcast. Oh, Ann, aren't you nice? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So it's always, and my bride is watching one floor down here in the house. So it's always weird when are you this way? It's always strange when you're using new software. Because you always want to make sure that everything is absolutely great. And hi to everybody on that. We still have to use two different cameras for Instagram Live and for our regular show. So because of the different orientation of the camera and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, hope everybody's doing great. We had what an interesting Easter, wasn't it? For many people, I know it was the first time ever that they had not attended church in person on Easter. So it's very strange. It's very different. We, Tammy and I, we're downstairs and that's the other great thing that you can do is, with your computer, either through Google or through Apple, we use Apple AirPlay, but you can link it up to your regular television. So we sat in the living room and watched our church service on the big screen on our regular television. And it wasn't like being there, but it was, as they say, it was the next best thing. And so, that really made it terrific. So would have rather been there, but it was sure great to be connected to our church, and maybe you were to yours as well, depending on how you celebrate Easter. So, hey, to Charles and Bonnie, sure glad that you are here as well, joining today on Daily Distinction. So a couple things to tell you just to get started. First of all, if you happened to watch last night, we had a lot of viewers, and I wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory in case you didn't get a chance to see it. Ken Walls is a friend of mine. We met when he was working with a company here in Las Vegas, and he and his wife, Jill, and Tammy and I, had dinner on a couple of occasions. And I was just like you are right now. I was online watching television, watching a broadcast, and it was Ken. And he was talking to a guy named Glenn Morshower, who is, he's got a role currently on Fox's television show, The Resident. He was Agent Aaron Pierce on 24. He's been the general in everyone, but on all the Transformer movies, but one. He's been in all of those. He was in Pearl Harbor. I mean, he's had an incredible acting career. He's one of those character actors that you know him when you see him. And he's talking to Glenn Morshower, and they've got a show. Well, Ken happened to see that I was watching, brought me on, and we clicked. I mean, we just clicked. And so they said, would you join our show? They had decided to start their own show. And here at the last minute, they asked me to be a partner with them on the show, but they'd already had the stuff prepared. It was the Ken and Glenn show. So now they've renamed it. It's the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott. So I'm playing the role of Glenn. No, I'm not. I'm obviously Scott. So anyway, we are going to be on every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, which of course is 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we are going to be on every Sunday. So we'd love to have you join us. And it's a fun show. Occasionally we're going to have a guest. Glenn brought in a comedian that is a friend of his who appears on national television. Raj was just a terrific guest. We're going to have some other guests. I'm going to be bringing on some of my friends, and Glenn will be bringing on some of the folks that he acts with, but it's every Sunday night. And I really hope that you join us. It would be really great if you would for the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Charles. Thank you for watching last night. Bonnie noted that she did the same with her online church service, and Cheryl is here. And wow, how cool, Cheryl! You watched Pearl Harbor yesterday. So Glenn's role in that is it's a funny story that he told, but he ended up being cast for something else, and then they moved him over, and he was like flagging in a plane and had a couple lines in that movie because of his friendship with Michael Bay, that's the director. So really, really a lot of fun. So and Glenn will be joining me here on Daily Distinction coming up this week. So we've got some cool stuff going on. This week we are going to have a couple of different guests. What we're going to have is Glenn is going to be on Thursday, and my pal Larry Winget is going to be on the show Wednesday. So we're going to have a heck of a time this week with Larry Winget on Wednesday and Glenn Morshower on Thursday. Those are the guests that are going to be on with us during this week. So it's going to be a lot of fun this week with Larry and with Glenn, and that will absolutely be wild. Rita, how interesting. You had a drive-in church yesterday. That is very cool. That's how Robert Schuller got started. That led into the Crystal Cathedral and everything that happened there. He had one of the first drive-in churches that was in Southern California, and he rented a drive-in movie theater, and you would pull into the drive-in movie theater, and he would be at front on this big platform and preach, and you'd put the speaker in your car like you would at the drive-in movie theater. And that's how all of that got started. So that's very cool. Kelly, what a nice comment. I really appreciate that. That is so kind. Collapse of Distinction was a book that I did several years ago, and then that became the model for Create Distinction. I updated it and came out with it later. So that is so kind. I really appreciate that. Sherry, so great to hear from you as always. So that's really terrific. Say, let's get started here with a question from my friend Jerry, who says, we keep hearing the phrase, we are all in this together. Do you think that applies to most or only some? Well, I think it applies to all of us, but I don't think all of us are executing it, if that makes sense, right? I think that the comment should apply to all of us. We should all be in this together. The virus does. I saw where ABC's George Stephanopoulos, that used to work in the Clinton White House, the host of Good Morning America. I saw that he tested positive. So, the virus doesn't care, right? I mean, the virus has no regard to religion, race, creed, color, anything. So because of that, yes, we are all in this together. But it's challenging because not everybody's acting like it. And we are at that hump. But, this gets into something I wanted to talk about today. And if we don't all get involved in this, then we're contributing to something that I think is very, very dangerous. So that's what we're going to be talking about in just a little bit. So hang on for that, Jerry, because a deeper answer to that is coming. I wanted to mention my friend Richard Mellencamp. He says this virus is affecting everyone's ordinary lifestyle. I found just that's a pitiful Easter egg hunt, my friend. Oh man, a buddy told me he's in his 70s, and he said the great thing about being older is you can hide your own Easter eggs. So I hope you're doing well, Richard. It's always great seeing you. Rita says that, what here, Rita, you said you were doing Facebook Live and had a quarter-mile radio transmitter. Oh, that is so wild. That's, drive in on that. That's the way to do the drive-in church. So anyway, I wanted to talk about, hey, Skip Pritchard watching on Instagram. Great to see you. I want to talk about a couple things today, and here's one of them, and Jerry kind of brought it up. There is a book out by Nate Silver, and it's called The Signal and the Noise. And let me try to describe what this means, and there will be some that are too young to understand where I'm coming from here. But If you ever dialed in a radio in the old days, an AM radio, and you would hear static on the AM radio, but you would keep dialing that until the station came in clearly. So you fought the noise, the static, to get to the radio's signal. Once the signal was there, once you honed in on the signal, you ignored the noise that was around the station because you didn't have to listen to it anymore. You had tuned into the signal and you ignored the noise. However, as you would move your dial up and down the AM band, there was a lot of noise to get to the specific signal. Now, I realize in today's world of digital tuning and that there's going to be a lot of us that haven't had that experience that many of us had years ago. But that's the premise of what they talk about in the signal and the noise, is that we have to block out the noise to clearly hear the signal. We have to tune into the signal and tune past the noise. What is happening right now is that there's so much noise out there that people get confused, or people don't listen in the right direction, or that people are throwing things out there that just aren't true. I saw today someone in my profession, a professional speaker, posting a video saying, continue to watch me here for the latest on the coronavirus situation. What? I don't want to hear that from a business speaker. I want to hear that from a pandemic expert. I want to hear my information. That person, that speaker that's posting that, is doing nothing other than contributing to the noise. Okay, so what we're trying to do here, I'll be the first to tell you, all I'm doing is trying to focus on the signal. So if your name isn't Fauci, I'm not listening to you. You're noise, right? You have to decide where you're going to tune in. And I think, and Guy asks the question, what do you mean by all get involved, Scott? I mean that we all have to get involved in tuning out the noise, and we all have to listen to the signal, and we all have to participate in what's going on. This isn't being caused by 5G. I saw where it was reported, people burned a 5G cellular tower because they saw a post that said that that's what's causing this. Seriously? No, science doesn't say that. And so what we have to do is to forget all of anybody can say anything in today's world. I could say that the coronavirus is caused by yellow legal pads, and I can post it online. It doesn't mean it's true. I could just post that and contribute to the noise. So what we have to commit to do is to focus on the signal, to focus on the experts. There's so much junk out there, as Cheryl says. What we have to do, and that junk, that's the noise, right? So what we have to do is to get rid of that and focus on what really matters and what not. How do you choose what expert? Hey, look, for me to tell you what expert is enough. That's contributed. You have to decide that for yourself. But I'm just suggesting that we've got somebody that's quarterbacking it. Some of you heard me say here before. Could you imagine a football game where the team gets in a huddle and everyone wants to call the play, and the running back says, "Hand me the ball," and the wide receiver says, "Throw me the ball," and everybody's, you can't have that. You got to have a quarterback. Now, after the game is over, you can say, did the quarterback call the right plays or not? The coach may call something, the quarterback will audible, because at the end of the day, the quarterback has the responsibility at the line of scrimmage to call the play. And we can criticize afterwards. Somebody posted the other day, but Scott, you don't understand. We're sports fans. We can criticize anytime we want. And that's the problem. There you're a spectator. Now you're in the game. If you get infected because you're not following what's going on, you're not a spectator. You're a participant. All of us right now are participants in this. So what we have to do is to eliminate the noise and focus on the signal and get rid of the junk that's out there in our lives, and to plan and prepare and to do the best we can. Well, Sherry, I think that's sending out your signal. I don't think it's making noise. I think when you let customers know that you're still here to take care of them, what you're doing is intensifying your signal. The noise is all of the, for lack of a better expression, the noise is just the crap that's out there that is saying all this stupid stuff about, oh, we got to get back out there. We got to, hey, look, let's let the experts handle what they're expert at, right? I mean, I hear people making commentary about this that have no qualification. My mentor in the speaking business, one of them was a guy named Charlie Willie. And Charlie called me one night and he said he was so upset. I said, well, what? Well, he said, the stupidest thing happened at this meeting. I said, what happened? He said, an 18-year-old guy got up and sang the song My Way by Frank Sinatra. When you're 18, you can't sing My Way. At 18, you don't have a way yet. It's so true, right? It's so true. And so we we have all these people. Yeah, Jim, you're right. We can see things so much in the rear view mirror, can't we? Hindsight geniuses. That is so true. So what we have to do is not contribute to the noise and focus on the signal. Now that signal might be, as Sherry indicates, making certain that we are letting our customers know that we're going to take care of them and let them know that we are focused on them and their needs and how we can solve it. That is absolutely critical and something all of us must be doing all the time. So critical. Hey, Dawn, good afternoon to you. Glad you're doing great. And you think you do, though. Yeah, that's right. It's so true. Thanks, Bonnie. I appreciate that. We have to focus on the signal and eliminate the noise. Hey, here's the second thing I wanted to let you know about. We talked about it a little bit over the weekend, but I know not everybody could be on the weekend. And part of hey, Jennifer, thank you for saying that here on Instagram. You're so kind. Jennifer's taking a look and watching, and Jennifer's my friend from the Weather Channel, and her and her main squeeze, my pal Brian Fanzo. They're just the awesomest couple you can imagine. So great to see you, Jennifer. Hope you're doing well. I want to talk a little bit about what Vince Antonucci, who is our minister at Verve Church here in Las Vegas, talked about on Easter, and that was it's resurrection in the Bible. But as we look at our own lives, and this is not a religious message, it's for all of us as it's going on. It's a time to reboot. And how do you reboot? And so he was talking about how you reboot, but all I can think of in my head as he's talking is the way you reboot is you hit Control Alt Delete, right? I mean, isn't that how you hit Control Alt Delete? And so I got thinking about, what does Control Alt Delete mean? It means we take control of what we can. There are certain things that we cannot control, but we can take control of what we can. You cannot control time. You cannot control the pandemic. But what you can control is how you respond and how you react and what you do about it. So take control of the things that you can. Alt to me means you look for alternative ways of doing it. Are there better approaches? Are there other unique ways that we, for example, in my field, there's not going to be big groups anytime in the next couple of months that I get up and give a keynote speech like I typically have. So are there alternatives? What we're doing now is one of them. And as I'll do this more for corporate events, that's part of how we do this is that we communicate in this manner electronically. So what are the alternatives? What are alternate ways that you can be approaching what you do so it adds value to your customers and to your family and to you? And delete. What do we need to get rid of? One of the things I've been doing this morning is going through my credit card bills and finding little things. It's so easy now in today's world to subscribe to something on a whim, and it's $9 a month, and you think you don't even know it, and all of a sudden you've got 10 of those, and there's $90 a month that's going to things that you really don't even need. So what I've been doing this morning is going through the credit card bills and getting rid of certain services and certain things that seemed like a good idea at the time, and I might have used them when I first bought them, but then you move on to something better and different. And you forget about that $9 or $12 a month that just gets charged to your card every month that you forget about. So I've found already $80 in savings a month of stuff I've eliminated, I've deleted, because now is just a good time in the downtime to be doing those kinds of things. So control what you can, find alternate approaches to get there, and delete those things in your life that you don't necessarily want or need. If we do those, there are certain things in our life that we can improve. Hey, my friend Marty says, yeah, it is a great time to clean things up. It's just making our lives more tidy. Right, Marty? That's what we're doing. And it's also a great time to learn how to create a more engaging, entertaining experience for our clients. That's so true, Jeffrey. That's what it's all about. Hey, my friend Randall here says too many folks, including the news media, listen to experts, but instead of focusing on the signal, they concentrate on any noise. Yeah, they pick that one little sentence, right? That one little line and blow it up. And Randall, we've talked on here before. I know that you've heard it, but we've talked on here before about what gets clicks, what gets attention. It is unfortunately so many times the negative. Charles says, send out more cards to clients and friends and send them video messages to let folks know that I'm thinking of them. Yeah. And that is so valued today, Charles, is just that little touch to let people know that you're there and that you care. And when you do those things, you have truly, truly impacted them and made a difference. So what I want to encourage you to do today, focus on the signal. Don't pay attention to the noise. And for goodness sakes, please don't contribute to the noise that's out there. And think about how you're going to reboot. I mean, we have been presented. Look, it's not, you hear me say this every day. This is not a wonderful thing that's happened, but we can make wonderful things happen because of it. It is the old cliche about turning, lemons into lemonade. As corny as that sounds, that's what this is about. It is changing it and turning these lemons that we have been given into lemonade. So that's what I want to suggest that you do. That's what we're going to be about. So, hey, just a reminder, coming up later this week, it'll be just me tomorrow, but on Wednesday, my pal Larry Winget, one of my best buddies in the world, is going to be here. And I'll tell you what, we are going to have a blast together. And on Thursday, I get to introduce you to my friend Glenn Morshower, who is one of those incredible people that life puts in your way sometimes. I know you're really, really, really going to enjoy listening to Larry and listening to Glenn. Also, don't forget, we have all those free resources available for you. Nothing to buy, just a good time now to study and to think and to where are we going from here? And what are we going to do when things change? That's part of what you can get on distinctionnation.com. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's a free service I'm providing. Just go to distinctionnation.com. There's ebooks, there's insights, there's a 14-day audio program that you can listen to. Just listen to one little bit. It's about, it varies from 5 to 10 minutes every day. A workbook for you. It's all right there for you at distinctionnation.com. All available for you, all free. So thank you so much for being a part of that. Hey, Jace, great to hear from you. Going to use your signal noise concept in your training. Thanks. I appreciate that very much. That's so cool. Jeffrey, always great seeing you. Thank you for being here today. Hey, here's my pal, Dan North. Oh, man. Dan, you're like me. You're in a business that depends on something that isn't happening, right? My business depends on meetings happening out there. Your business depends on bars and restaurants. So I think I would be focusing right now, because people are spending more time at home. It might be a time for you to think about, how can we service what you have in your home? How can we upgrade what you have in your home? That's just off the top of my head. I'll give it some thought and come back tomorrow. I'll think maybe of a couple other things. But if bars and restaurants aren't open, where are people that focus on audio visual? And right now, it's this. And, for many business people, maybe even salespeople, it might be a good time to sell to them how to set up a studio in your home so that you can communicate like this with your clients and with your customers. Because I think we're going to be doing much more of this than we ever anticipated, even after everything gets back to normal. Saw an email from my pal, Howard Putnam. Howard is a former CEO of Southwest Airlines. And, one of the things he was speculating about is what happens to airline travel if now we don't have anybody in middle seats and they have to restrict that and all that. What happened? There's so many things that we don't know what's going to happen next. How do we deal with that? And so part of what we have to be thinking about is where's the opportunity? Where and it doesn't matter if you're in a business like Dan's and audio visual or what it is, but where we may have to do something different with our expertise, right? See, and I'll give you, here's a for instance, based on what I do. Mine has been standing up in front of a big crowd and giving a speech on business. If I viewed my business as speaking, I'm in trouble. If I view my business as content that I delivered as a speaker, but now I'm going to be delivering online, in virtual meetings, in virtual training, now all of a sudden I have to change how I look at my business and change how I look at the future. Because part of me, I would set back. People go, oh, are there going to be meetings? Are there going to be? And I'd go, hey, I don't have the money. I don't have the wherewithal to do research on that, but Marriott does and Hilton does. And they're still building big hotels, right? So that was my research on where they're going to be gigs in the future. Well, Hilton and Marriott and none of us could predict this. So here we go. We have to take and look at what we do and our expertise at what we do and think about how do we communicate that or deliver that in a different way. Marty here says, disruption creates opportunity. What will our new normal be? And Marty, one of the things I've said here is it's a quote from my great pal, Randy Pennington. And Randy says, it's not going to be the new normal for a while. It's going to be the new next. We don't know what normal is going to be, and normal takes a while to get into play. So what we have to be looking for is what's next? What is the new next going to be? Hey, Kelly, thank you for signing up for that. I really appreciate that. I hope you find value in that. Guy, oh, there you go. Jane Atkinson is one of my faves. She's doing great. And Guy, it's great you're using this time to write a new book and contribute to the world. So that's really special. Hey, Bonnie, thank you for that, for sharing. And hi, Maggie from Florida. So the Sunday night thing, one more time, it is called the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott, because Ken and Glenn already had the show set up and then they asked me to join in. But it's every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Ken has set up a page here on Facebook. So you just search Ken and Glenn Show. It'll take you to the show page that'll tell you all about it. But it's every Sunday night, and I think you're going to enjoy it, because those guys are a blast to be with, and we just did our first show and people had a lot of nice comments about it. So that was very cool. So thanks everybody for watching. Remember, again, the website that you can go to is distinctionnation.com to sign up. I will see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, for our daily distinction. And I also post the replay. You can watch the replay on anything, but I post the replay on LinkedIn if you're over there to take a look. So as I've always said, it means the world to me that you would take a little time out of your day and watch this. And I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Remember, Control, Alt, Delete to reboot. Contribute to the signal. Avoid the noise. And for goodness sakes, don't contribute to that. I'll look forward to talking to you again right here again tomorrow, and Wednesday with Larry Winget, Thursday with Glenn Morshower. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon.